Now, he's not in the anime yet, but Thomas is staring at you deep into your soul. Anyway, speaking of the anime, how have you guys been liking it? It is so awesome that we finally got to see the Baruka fight in the anime between him and Jinwoo. And so for today's video, I'm going to be doing my best possible. It's going to, trust me, it's gonna be fast. It's not gonna be anything crazy, but I'm gonna be doing my best recreation of that fight. We're also gonna then from there talk about Blades, the game original version of a shadow for Baruka, and go from there. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure that thumbs up and subscribe. And by the way, to my loyal supporters, I appreciate you guys so much. I did over the last couple of days send out the latest codes, and the people that do not already support me, well, guess what? I'm going to be dropping a few codes in this video in just a moment as well that you guys can put in as a first come first serve thing. And here we go. But for the record, I've got 20,500 gold codes, all this other stuff. But for today, I'm giving you guys Trace of Shadows and 300,000 gold. So ignore this top one, but these bottom three are all codes you guys can input. First come, first serve. If you didn't get it, don't worry. You can still get yourself this guaranteed. All you have to do is go to the description and click the support button, and I'll be able to send you all of these things. It'll take me a couple days, and like I said, but I'll be able to send it to you. You're not going to get a code. You will get it sent straight to your gift box. Funny thing about that, it won't even tell you I sent it. You'll just see it in there and be like, oh, where'd this come from? So that's what it is. All right, so we restricted our team, but I'm still grossly over leveled. I changed my gear, my artifacts, everything, and I'm still grossly over leveled. In fact, maybe I should just take artifacts off entirely. Maybe that'll do it. I took artifacts and cores off, and I'm still in the blue by a huge margin. I'm still way over leveled, so not much else I could really do about it. But we're gonna fight Baruka. What I will say is this game, like, desperately, and by the way, if you're new, we're playing Solo Leveling Rise. Make sure you subscribe. About 80% of viewers aren't subscribed. I don't know what the heck those 80% are doing. Make sure you subscribe. This game desperately needs like a boss rush mode so I can challenge some of the harder bosses, or some of the story bosses in the game on harder difficulties. Because there's not really much of a way to do that. Every now and again, you'll see them on like a red gate or something. I spent 25 minutes refreshing for a high level gate because I knew he used to be there. Maybe he's no longer a part of the gates. I don't know, but he used to be pretty easy to find in gates. By the way, he also, I don't even know what he does anymore. He also got nerfed because there was a time where he was one of the hardest characters to fight in this entire game. His story stage was ridiculous. Wait, oh, that one? So I put on some random skills because I haven't used some of these skills in forever, and I just wanted to try some stuff. Dude, okay, that's fine. Look at the poison and the bleed. Look at the DOT. Look at the DOT. All right, so we're gonna drop my shadows in here too. I don't have a break skill because I don't want to run through this. Let's watch my shadows work. I did restrict my shadow. Oh, of course he went into the air. Wow. I did restrict my shadow usage though. I did not use other game originals like Serbi, and I didn't use freaking Kaisel or Beru. I just used some of the guys he was using at the time. Look at Tank. Oh, Tank, as soon as I say look at you disappear. Look at Igris. He was putting in that work. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this. Okay, we got him. That's gonna be it. So we don't get to see the beautiful manhwa cutscene here, but it is what it is. If I were playing on easy difficulty, I would. So like that made it a little bit harder, taking off all my stuff. But previously, you know, with all my stuff on, we basically go in there and one-shot him. So like I said, the game really needs like a boss rush mode because I can't say I want to fight him at an upper difficulty. He's not a workshop boss, you know, or anything like that, which it makes sense. He's not from the tower. So anyway, so I wanted to move from there and kind of show you guys what he looks like and how he kind of functions too in the game. So if you're like new to the game, you're not really sure, there are a few game originals here. For sake of spoiling, I won't tell you any others, but since it's happened in the anime, I mean, the manhwa's super old. You guys should read it. It's awesome. Shoot, you should read the light novel. Anyway, Blades. For the record, here's how he looks at general ranking. I can't zoom in, unfortunately, but he looks awesome. He looks so cool. I like that, like, sash or whatever that is over his shoulder. Like, his clothes just grow. Like, I don't it's cool though. It almost looks like a wing. Like, it's clean. So that's how he looks at general rank. It's pretty awesome. I can actually show you how he looks naturally through his progressions, because actually, does it show what they look like individually? I haven't upgraded him beyond just common rarity, because he is one of the shadows that you don't need to use in this game. Yeah, it kind of shows you the image. So here's him at elite. If I were to upgrade him, here's him at night, elite night, and then general ranking. He gets more markings on his face, turns purple, and obviously gets that like growth on his clothing. So unfortunately not the best shadow. He is a DPS based shadow, and unfortunately, like I've said several times over, the shadow system needs a heavy rework in this game. I think the reason why it is the way it is in this game is because if it was any better, you kind of would just go in and just defeat stuff with shadows, which kind of defeats the purpose of playing with Jinwoo, I guess. It's just kind of weird, especially because shadows are always deployed alongside non-Jinwoo teams, because you don't have to always play with Jinwoo. You can play with other characters. Yes, it's Jinwoo, not Woo. But anyway, that being said, either way is fine. I've said Jinwoo a lot. I just gotten super used to saying ooh because the dub for this game. Anyway. So that being said, Blades, he tries to do attack increases, critical hit increases at the general rank, but you unfortunately don't really need him for any of this stuff. I mean, like, if I were looking for a DPS shadow specifically, I mean, you can go to like Igris, who's got like bleeds. You can go for that or something like that. But I would look at Kaisel, because he actually hits like a freaking nuke with he's got the highest modifier on his skills. And then also when you combine him with like Baru and with Serbi, who have debuffing abilities, he does a lot of damage, especially if you're using the Shadow Domain Blessing Stone too. But the thing with Blades that I would consider is more about his Shadow Authority, because if you're new to the game, only one Shadow Authority is applied. It's the primary first slot shadow has their like passive skill applied. Typically though, in gameplay, you're either using Tusk for like one specific team for the most part, or you're going to use Igris, or you're going to use what's it called, Big Rock, and that's it. Like, you're not using anybody else. You're not using Serbi, because crit hit damage needs to be like 5 times this number to be a good thing. You're not using Baru, because while he's a mixture of both, the crit hit rate is still more impactful in my opinion. And then just again, critical hit damage there is a slap in the face at 5%. It's worthless. And then ultimate damage here is cool at 9%, but again, you're not throwing ultimates all game long, even in builds that can help you get it faster. You know what I would use him for is maybe if I was using a team like with a character like I always say Choi, but that's not how you pronounce it either. Jungin. If I were using a team with him, maybe I'd do that. But regardless, Big Rock is a super duper meta. You use Big Rock in a lot of teams with some of the best characters. And so basically, also because a lot of hunters don't use their attack stat at all to do damage, they scale off of defense or HP. Blades gets kind of left by the wayside if he's not primarily used with Jinwoo, in which case you could, if you wanted to, you could use him and be effective with it. But he just doesn't have value. I think, in my opinion, he needs a rework. He needs to be buffed in some ways, but they've yet to do that for any of these shadows, because several of them have gimmicks that they're good at. Like Tank, even, for example. Tank's not good as a primary shadow either, even though some shadows scale off defense. It's basically the same thing. But what he can do is he can provide a stun, which can be useful if you need it. A 1-second stun, like that can be useful. He's also buffing the defense of your shadows, which, okay, like shadows kind of get evaporated sometimes too, so like that could be useful too. Blades is just like doing nothing but increasing his own attack, which, by the way, he increases attack. That's not an attack increase for Sung Jinwoo. That is literally only for Blades. Unless it says it's for Jinwoo or for shadows, it's only for the individual character mentioned right here. So he's getting that himself. Critical hit rate as well, that's like only for himself. Like if he gave Jinwoo critical hit rate, that would be insane. That would be ridiculous. but he does not. So that's kind of how things are with Blades, unfortunate as it is. So that's mostly it. But regardless, though, it's cool that this game has the ability to make game original shadows. And the fun thing about it too is with this game, again, I'm kind of just showcasing the game at this point because I know there are new people. One thing that's really cool is you can also see the story behind these characters, like this demon Serbi, and how they do, or you know, whatever, become a shadow, all the stuff with that, right? You even can see some interesting backstories. Some people were talking about online the backstory for Egress, but we already kind of have known what his backstory was for like the last 9 months. Like, you can see all that stuff. It's kind of crazy. And you can see that stuff for characters too. And there's like new manhwas and stuff that they make for like a couple slides to give more context to backstories for some of the characters, like Shimizu Akari. Hers is so sad, and she's just such a nothing burger of a character. She just gets absolutely jobbed at the Jeju Island start, but her story is kind of sad. So anyway, that's kind of what they do here. So I wanted to kind of just wrap things up with this, and because I have to do this to get more codes for you guys, I wanted to talk about this new solo leveling championship, I think it's called, that they have going on. How many of you guys are going to participate in it? Post down below. I think it's super duper cool that they're doing this. So last year's solo leveling championship Korea season 1 was successfully held with enthusiastic support from our hunters. Exciting battles continue with intense strategies. Numerous hunters participated themselves to honor the championship. Now, thanks to the support from our hunters, solo leveling Arise championship is expanding globally. That's right. They did have one of these in Korea only, huh? That was around the time when the game was in early access, right? Like, it was so long ago. I mean, the game since early access has been almost a year. Like, it's actually almost been a year that this game's been out. I go, what is it, like 8 months? Like, it's been a while. The final, maybe 9 months. I think it's been 9 months, actually. The final stages after the preliminary stage will be conducted officially offline here in Korea. Don't hesitate to participate in the championship. So they've also got a video where they detail what this event really is, but it's basically an event where you play against other people for the game, or on that play the game. So if you guys are interested, just check out the SLE, Solo Leveling, I think Championship was what it was called. But again, regardless, like I said earlier, this game really needs a boss fight mode, because I can't go to any of this content and reliably find Baruka or Barca, whatever, and fight him anywhere. So that was unfortunate, but regardless, it was so cool to be able to do that. And I may start next week with episode 3. Don't quote me, don't hold up, don't wait for it. I may start doing anime reviews, so we'll see what happens.